this. If you're going to spray behind your ear, make sure you wash behind your ear. Nobody likes dirty ears and then you spraying fragrance behind it. Hey beautiful people, it's your girl Tara Marie and I am back with another video. So today we are here to talk about how to get your fragrance to last longer. Since I've started wearing fragrances, that has been the question that I have had, you have had, everybody has had, and I have found some tips that have worked wonders for me and I want to share it with you guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also make sure that you press the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time that I post and upload. Also let me know some of the tips that you use that make your fragrances last longer. I want to know if these are some of the ones that you use or if you have some new ones that I don't know. Let your girl know. Let me know. I don't like to gatekeep information, so we're sharing it today. So without further ado, let's get into the video. The first tip that I have for you is hydrate your skin. Fragrance does not stick to dry skin very well at all whatsoever. So if you're dry, if your skin is dry, if you don't moisturize with thicker moisturizers, people that have like eczema or things like that, it's just harder for fragrances to last longer on your skin. And because of that, you have to use more moisturizing lotions and creams. One of the things that I always use that have worked wonders for me is Vaseline, you guys. Vaseline or thicker lotions work amazing on the skin. It gives the fragrance something to adhere to. So basically, the reason why fragrances don't last long on dry skin is because the dry skin, it doesn't absorb the oils well, right? So basically what ends up happening is you're putting this fragrance on your skin and it has alcohol in it. So the alcohol is drying your skin. There's not a lot of oil for it to adhere to. So the scent is evaporating basically. But if you use more things that are nourishing on your skin, or when you get right out of the shower, which I think is the best way to apply fragrances, you get out of the shower, you put on some type of body cream, then you spray your fragrance on top of that in very specific areas, which we will get to in a little bit, then you'll see that your fragrance will tend to last a little bit longer. So that is the first tip that we have. Hydrate your skin. I promise you, it works wonders. The second tip that I have is spray your perfume on your pulse points and, are you ready? Drum roll. Your clothes, duh. A lot of times people are like, no, I don't want to spray it on my clothes because there's alcohol in the fragrance. Yeah, y'all, but it's not going to hurt your clothes. I mean, unless if you're wearing like 100% silk and you're spending like $1 million on your clothes, I promise you, the little bit of alcohol that's in this fragrance most likely is not going to hurt your clothes. Unless if you're just like pouring the fragrance on your clothes, which I doubt you're going to do because you pay too much money for these fragrances, right? Right. So spray them in your pulse points. Those are things like your wrist, your inner elbow, behind your ears, under your neck, your chest, behind your knee. So I am what you call an oversprayer, y'all. I don't feel like you can overspray fragrances unless if you have like a beast mode fragrance and you're just like dousing yourself with it, you're gonna make us cough. That's not what I'm talking about. But just regular fragrances that you use day to day, I'm talking about fragrances that are like your normal fragrances. You can spray them, y'all. Don't be shy. You gotta use them. If you're gonna pay money for a fragrance, make sure that you're using it. It's no need of it sitting on your dresser or on your fragrance stand and you never use them. Make sure you get wear out of them. And in order for them to last, okay, you want to spray them in the pulse points. The reason why it's called pulse points, those are the places that your body is going to heat up the quickest. What happens when you spray fragrance on a place that heats up? It projects. So if you ever walk past somebody and you're like, oh girl, oh guy, you smell good, it's because they've sprayed it in a point that will allow the fragrance to project. Those are things called pulse points. Now, let me tell you this. If you're going to spray behind your ear, make sure you wash behind your ear. Nobody likes dirty ears and you spraying fragrance behind it. You're going to be projecting something that you don't want to project. So make sure that you're taking a shower, you're cleaning yourself, all that other good stuff, and then you spray your fragrance on your pulse points. Now, what I will say is this. I know a lot of girls that are like, oh, I spray on my most inner parts. Honey, don't do that. Fragrance is not meant to go inside of your body. It's meant to go on the outside of your body. So just stick to the outside pulse points on your clothes, and I promise you, you'll be fine, and everybody that walks past you will smell you. I promise. The next tip that I have for you guys is don't rub, dab. Okay, so a lot of y'all are doing this. Stop rubbing your wrist together. I don't even want to do it. What you should be doing is this. If you feel like you have to rub, or if you feel like you have to distribute the fragrance onto both arms, dab. Do not rub. Why is that? Because when you rub your fragrance, you're breaking down the top notes of the fragrance. So basically, what is a top note? A top note is the notes that you smell when you first spray the fragrance, okay? But if you're rubbing it together, you're getting rid of those top layers of notes, which means there's like 2-3 hours that you're rubbing off just because you're rubbing your wrist together. I know on movies and TVs, they're spraying fragrance and rubbing it together and dabbing it on there. Y'all, that's fake. It is fake. Don't do it. You don't need to rub your wrist together in order to make your fragrance last. It's actually cutting down your wear time. Remember that. If you rub your wrist together, your fragrance is not going to last. So if you feel like you have to do something with putting your wrist together or doing something like that, just dab it. Just dab it. In my opinion, I don't dab either. I let the fragrance dry down on its own. Why? Because I want it to mix with my body oils in the time that it's supposed to. I don't want to make anything happen that is not supposed to happen with fragrances. And that's why a lot of times you can smell my fragrance on me, because I'm not going behind myself and rubbing it together. I'm letting it dry on its own. And I promise you will see wonders and experience wonders. Now, be careful, okay, when you're spraying it on your clothes. Fragrance does have oil in it. And also, some fragrances have like a color tint to it. And if you're wearing like a white shirt and you're spraying fragrance that's like brown or green or something like that, and you're putting it on your clothes, it can have like little spots on your clothes. So just be very careful. Use your best judgment, you guys. So like if you're wearing a dark color, most likely a blue tone of the fragrance juice is not going to show up on a black shirt. But if I'm wearing like a white shirt, I will be very careful about spraying fragrance on that. I don't want you to ruin your clothes because I'm not ruining mine. So that is the next tip. Do not rub, dab if you have to. The last tip that I have for you guys is all fragrances are not created equal. So there are things called toilettes, eau de parfums, fragrance oils, all different types of perfumes and body oils and fragrances and all of that other great stuff, right? But those names, they mean something. They're just not named that just for the heck of it. So when you go to buy a fragrance and you see where it says like EDP, pay attention to those things, you guys, because those acronyms are telling you how much oil is in your fragrance, and the more oil your fragrance has, the longer it lasts on your body. Okay? So the things that have the most oil are going to be your fragrance oils, like legit actual oils, fragrance oils, literally actual oils, okay? Those things will last longer. They're designed to last longer, you guys, because it has oil. And the oil on moisturized skin lasts forever, right? Then you have eau de parfums, which are basically like a perfume, but it has a higher level of oil in it, but it still has alcohol in it. So it's not as oil concentrated as a regular oil, but it is still like the juice and the liquid, but it has a high amount of oil in it. Those perfumes also last a lot because I think they have like 20%, 15 to 20% of oil in it. So if you have a perfume that has 15 to 20% of oil in it, most likely it's gonna last longer on your skin if you're moisturizing and you're putting it in the pulse points. Then you have things like a toilet. A toilet has the highest amount of alcohol in the actual fragrance, which means most likely it's gonna dry out, evaporate a little bit quicker. So it doesn't last as long. It still gets like 2 to 3 hours of wear depending on how you're doing it, right? So my thing is, if I'm wearing a toilet, as you all know from my previous video, one of my favorite fragrances is the Gucci Flora Gorgeous Gardenia. Well, I have the toilette version. Now they're selling the Eau de Parfum version, but I have the first version, which was the toilet. I have to be very intentional about wearing those things. Different fragrances that tend to not last long are things like citrus fragrances, fresh solar fragrances. Those notes tend to not last long, right? So if you're trying to find something that's gonna last you longer, you're gonna have to get something with a little bit more of a heavier note, woody note, gourmand notes. Those are the notes that tend to last longer on our skin. Why? They're just thicker notes, they're just more fuller notes. So I know I have a friend and she's always like, I like citrus fragrances. She likes the fresh, citrusy type of stuff. And I told her, like, girl, it's not gonna last. Like, it's not gonna last. It's only gonna last for so long. Not because you're doing anything wrong per se, but those fragrances are just not able to last longer. But if you're one of those people that like those types of fresh solar notes, you're gonna have to make sure that you're intentional about what you're doing prior to putting on the fragrance. You're gonna have to be very intentional about the lotion you're using, about the creams you're using, about the body wash you're using, because what happens is all of those things can work together, right? So if you're bathing in something that is very strong, like Irish Spring Girl, which don't if you do, if you're bathing in something that has a very, very loud and projective scent like that, then you're gonna have to make sure that you're wearing a strong perfume with it. If you get perfumes that are like gourmand or woody and they have those like spicy notes, those notes tend to last long on the skin regardless. So if you're looking for something that does last longer, make sure that you're gravitating toward those types of notes if you like them. If you don't like them, it's okay to buy citrusy and fresh solar type of fragrances. You're just gonna have to put in a little bit more work. And that's not your fault. That's just how it is. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope these tips work. Hopefully you learned something that you didn't already know. If you did already know them, what are some other tips that you're using to make your fragrances last longer? I'm always open to new information, and also I don't like to gatekeep. So hopefully you enjoyed all the information that you got, and I hope it'll be helpful. Let me know if these tips have worked for you. Go ahead and try them this weekend. See if it makes your fragrances last a little bit longer. What moisturizers are you using that have worked well with your skin to make your fragrances last longer? My go-to is Vaseline. Vaseline has never steered me wrong. What's yours? Make sure you leave that in the comment. What are some moisturizers and fragrances that last long on your skin, and the moisturizers that help your skin make the fragrance last longer? Hopefully you all enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment on this video. I would enjoy having conversation with you. You guys, thank you so much for those that have commented on my previous videos. I really enjoy talking with you guys. So don't ever feel shy about commenting on the video. I really enjoy it. Every time a comment comes up, I'm like, I'm always telling my husband, babe, they're commenting on my video. So definitely don't feel shy about commenting. I try to respond to everybody within an hour. If I see it, I do work a full-time job. So sometimes I'm getting the comments a little late, but I do try to respond to them every time that I see them. But thank you guys so much for all of your support. Don't forget to stay beautiful inside and out.
Got a vision for my life and I can't ignore it. Shit don't happen overnight, gotta work for it.